So you don't have to always go with Pete and me and our group, although we're really fun. And I love meeting people. That's the thing. Many of these people that we have been going on these trips with, we now call family. You know, I talk to them more than I talk to my family.
Welcome to the Woman Angler and Adventurer Podcast, inspiring real women with a passion for fishing in the outdoors to go get their adventure on. Now, here's your host, coming to you from the Lance Chuck Camper Mobile Podcast Studio, Master Captain Angie Scott.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of the Woman Angler and Adventurer Podcast. I have a special guest with me this week, Hanna Robbins. Hanna, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I've watched you. I've looked at you on Facebook for a long time. And finally, I asked you to do something for me, and I was hoping you'd ask me to do something for you.
Well, I'm glad it worked out because I've been researching you now. I know we've been Facebook friends, but now that I'm getting to learn more about you, I'm like, wow, you do some awesome stuff. So I'm really excited to introduce you to the audience and talk about what you do. To start off, would you just kind of introduce yourself and tell everybody kind of how you got into fishing?
I will. So, Hanna Robbins. I grew up in Chicago, north of Chicago, Illinois, and I've been in the DC area for the last 19 years. And how I met my husband is how I got into fishing. We met online, and he got a hold of me, and his profile name was Fish Boy. And so I asked him, I said, you fish off a bridge with a bobber? And he said, oh, you have so much to learn. Well, I'm really competitive. I'm a good athlete. And so here I am today. That was his problem, you know. Too bad he said that, right?
Right.
So he does say I am his favorite fishing partner. Whether I believe that or not, I don't know. But we are now in business together.
Awesome.
So we've been fishing for the last, 18, 19 years. And we decided, what are we going to do? Not many people have retirement goals or plans. And I surely wasn't going to sit in a recliner and just watch TV for the rest of my life. So we decided to start now on our journey to take fishing into our retirement. So half past first cast kind of came about. We're both over 50, so we're half past our first cast.
Love it.
So we are basically the gist of half past first cast is we give tools and information to keep fishing fun and make the most of everyone's remaining casts through like travel hacks, equipment advice, trip reports, and our unfiltered opinions.
Love it. Very cool. I've been to the website, so everyone knows, halfpastfirstcast.com. So much great information you guys put out on there, and I love the idea of starting this now. I've talked to people on the show in the past who, just kind of start living their dreams and have stories about like parents that saved up their whole lives for retirement. And then when they finally retired, they both got sick and died, stuff like that. And it's just like, I don't ever want to retire. So I love, starting something now that you can carry on. So you always have, a passion and something you're working towards, until it's your time to go.
Yeah, exactly. And we both Pete and I have different passions within the business. He loves the gear. If you saw our garage, I don't say why do you keep buying stuff? Well, I asked that question too. So his garage is filled. We have the boat and all the gear, and he'd love a twice the size garage, but that would mean that twice as much gear,
right?
And I he loves the travel aspect of it, but I love getting people to travel with us. When we go to certain places, one of the places we go to is El Salto and Bacacho, Mexico, Anglers Inn International. And it's like my Disney World. When I see people come, when people see Mickey for the first time and they get, that's how I see people when they come with me. And a lot of times people, well, why go with you? Well, you won't go on your own. I've been there a million times. I know what to expect. I know what not to expect. And once you get there, I make you feel at ease. You can ask me any question. I've been there. I've done it. I can't catch a fish for you. That's your job. But other than that, I can tell you exactly what's going to go on.
Yeah.
And for all these trips, and you don't have to be in a pair on many of these vacations we go on. You don't have to have a significant other, and you can go with us and help us fill our the number of spots we need. So that helps also. It also brings down your cost and the group's cost. So that helps a lot too.
Gotcha. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So part of Half Past First Cast, aside from doing blogs and videos and information, you do these, what's the word I'm looking for? Curated trips.
Yes.
For people.
So, yes. So what we would say is I'm a booking agent for some of these lodges. Okay. But the nice thing is that Pete and I have gone places, and there are some places we will not go back to, and we don't want you to go, we wouldn't send you there for whatever reason. And these are the special places that we have been, that we go back to and can't wait to go to and want to bring people there. We go to Alaska, Bear Trail Lodge. We go to Mexico, Anglers Inn. Guatemala, Casa Vieja Lodge. We go to Panama, Sport Fish Panama Island Lodge. And we just got back from, and we'll be going again to Ballard's Black Island Lodge in Canada.
Very cool.
So obviously only one of them is in the United States, but, you will need your passport, but all these places are safe. People always say, is it safe? Is it safe? I said, my husband wouldn't be taking me to these places if it wasn't safe for a woman or a man. And it's just spectacular. The problem is most people don't understand that you have to make many of these reservations a year in advance because everybody else thinks they're so awesome. They've already, once they leave, they sign up, within a week or two later.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, and I know you've got, it looks like on your website, Panama is the next one coming up.
Panama is the next one coming up. Not an inexpensive trip, but one you cannot miss. It is spectacular. We fly into Panama City. We stay the night. We then go take the first flight out in the morning to a place called David. From there, the lodge picks us up. We take a 5 to 7 minute ride to the marina. All of our stuff is put on the boats. We go through the mangroves, about an hour to the island, which means that in the morning when we go out to go offshore fishing, we're an hour closer to the fish. So if anybody's old enough to remember Gilligan's Island, we have our own island to ourselves.
Nice.
It's unbelievable. The food, fresh. I mean, there's many times when we come back and you're eating the food that we catch, which you can also bring home. We go down, we love the tuna fishing. Topwater fishing, in my opinion, is the best way to catch a fish.
Yeah.
But of course, there's other fish you can catch. Cubera snapper. There's marlin fishing, sail fishing, the grouper. The last group that was down in the island, I believe, this past season, I think they caught 12 species in one day.
Wow.
Yeah, rooster fish, amberjack, Jack Crevalle, blue trevally, I could go on. And the other thing is, now that I've been doing this, now it's almost a passion to get how many species can I catch?
Right.
So marlin's my big one that's on my bucket list. And it's, every time I target one, I don't end up with it. Somebody else does. So.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I love having species on the bucket list, and marlin definitely is one that I have not caught yet. So yeah, super, super fun. So how many people do you take typically on one of these trips?
Well, the Panama trip, we can get up to 16. He just bought another boat, so it's
cool.
4 people per boat, so we can get up to 16 people. You can get 5 people in a boat, but it gets a little crowded.
Mm-hmm.
To the Mexico trip, we can get as many as 38 people.
Wow.
Canada, we can get as many, I believe it's 20. And depending on the dates for Alaska, we could do as many as 20. And Casa Vieja is, I believe they have 10 boats. Okay. You can get 4 in some boats. You can get only 2 in others. So you can get a lot of people to go to all these places.
Great.
Yeah. So if you have groups, corporate groups, just people, family groups, you don't have to always go with Pete and me and our group, although we're really fun. And I love meeting people. That's the thing. Many of these people that we have been going on these trips with, we now call family.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to them more than I talk to my family.
Well, yeah, I can imagine having these awesome adventures together is really a great bonding experience.
It really is. Eating together. Well, I say sleeping together. That's not what I. Right. They've seen us at our worst. They've seen us at our best. And mm-hmm. It's just, and we all have the same passion. We love fishing, and many of the times people are like, "Well, if I can't take my wife, then I can't go." Well, you can take your wife. Many of these trips, if they don't actually fish. We go down to Guatemala. They can sit by the pool. They can go on a trip into Antigua to go shopping and go to the volcanoes. And so there's other things that the wives can do, or they can go down to Mexico and they can be in Mazatlan and be at a resort. The husbands can go fish for a few days, and then the husbands can go back for a weekend beach resort trip and meet the wives there. I mean, there's always something, or they could go fishing, because you know what happens once the women go fishing and they actually catch their first or second fish, they can't wait to rebook.
They're hooked.
They're hooked, literally.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you about that. How many, go on one of these trips not having ever caught a fish before, and then, go out and have one of these experiences. And I can imagine it can be life-changing.
Life-changing, where this last year we went to Panama with a couple who had never been out of the country. So we were there, I guess we were there first. We got them and one of the girls who is coming back with us this time, she's very quiet. The poor girl got sunburn. She wasn't feeling good on one of the trips because, a little bit of seasickness. And after the 4 days we're there, we're getting in the dinghy boat to go back to the boats, to go back to the marina to get to the airport. I hear her say, "When are we going next year?" And I thought, what? She had such a good time. She's not a fisherman. She had such a good time. She couldn't wait to get back.
Wow.
Yep. So they're in our group for this year.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was the last thing I thought would come out of Lisa's mouth.
Yeah.
And now we chat back and forth, through Instagram. She sends me things, I send her things, and I can't wait to see her again. I mean, she lives in Tennessee. I don't get to see her often. So,
Very cool. Well, I'm in Tennessee, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
Even better. Well, very cool. So I imagine you meet people, from all over the country. Do you have overseas people that go out on these trips with you as well, or is it mostly?
I have. Well, it's just starting. I've been going to Anglers Inn. I've gone there for the last 12 years. So, but really getting into this within, the booking agent thing, in the last couple years. So far, no. Well, I take that back. I do have somebody from Canada coming with us to Panama. But we do have other people ask us about the trips. We have people from Africa. Wow. We've had people from South America ask us about, these trips. It just hasn't happened that they're available when we're going.
Gotcha.
But yes, we do get people that ask about it. And with all the stuff that we are writing, especially what Pete writes about gear, at least twice a week, every week. A lot of people from Japan is they love lures and anything that has something to do with fishing, so he gets people from Japan that write to us all the time.
Very cool.
Where did you get that? What's the best travel rod? Where did you get this? We can't get that bait's made here and we can't get it. Where did you get it? So,
awesome.
It is awesome.
I'm getting a little distracted because I'm looking at your the Mexico trip on your website, and I've heard a lot about Lake El Salto, if I can speak this morning, Lake El Salto, and in the monster trophy bass in that lake. And I know Minn Kota Hummingbird did the one boat challenge film there, and so yeah, I'm kind of drooling right now looking at this.
We have more, I think, between 80 and 100 articles on not only what to bring when you go down there, what to expect, what to eat, what not to eat, is it safe? I had a wedding down there. Oh, wow. Pete and I threw a wedding down there, and we had it's our family. If fishing aside, the reason that we go back every year is because everybody down there has become our family. The service at Anglers Inn is second to none. So the service for these other places that we go to are unbelievable as well. But there is something different about Anglers Inn that nobody can match.
Well, the headline said, what did it say? Big bass and margaritas. So how can you beat that?
Absolutely. And your margarita glass, well, fortunately and unfortunately, will never go dry.
Wow.
Yep. You get out of the van and they hand you one. So it starts that way.
Nice.
Yeah, cool. I won't ruin anything more for you.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, I think I might have to book the next trip for that one. I mean, and the pricing is not that outrageous.
It's really not that outrageous if if you can save. You have to book at least, if we're going to get a group of people to go, you want to book at least a year in advance. Mm-hmm. You'll have time to save. You do have to bring your own tackle. You do not have to bring your own rods, but you have to bring your own reel, line, and your own tackle. And I can tell you exactly what is, we have tons of articles stating what you should bring at what time of the year. Mm-hmm. But we also keep in contact with the guides. So if I call down, 2 weeks in advance and say, what's the bait? What's going on right now? They'll tell us. Of course, when we get down there, they probably won't be biting it, but we'll have enough of everything. And everybody wants everybody else to catch a fish. So I've met people. I'm actually going on a trip to Guatemala with a guy and his wife who we met down at in Mexico. We just started talking, and he was there on his own, but we started talking, and he's like, "Hey, where do you go? Where do you go?" So he's coming with us.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Well, I love everything you guys do. The blogs, I highly recommend people go check out halfpastfirstcast.com. I'll put a link to that in the show notes and look over all the different travel trip options that you guys do. Anything else that you want to mention? I know it looks like Tackle Warehouse is a supporter. Gary Yamamoto, Bates.
Yes. So please, everybody buys from Tackle Warehouse. You're not buying, doesn't cost you a penny more to click on the link on the bottom of our homepage. And if you buy tackle through there, it just gives us a little bit of a kickback to when you go on vacation with us for us to purchase things, and it makes a little happier. You get a little happy. You get, certain things when you go on trips with us, a hat, a buff, something more than if you just go on your own. So that's how we don't make any money by doing any of this. That's the only little tidbit we get.
Gotcha.
A little kickback from, Tackle Warehouse. So if you do that, we'd appreciate it.
Awesome. I can put a direct link to that in the show notes as well, just to make it a little easier for people, because I know I'm constantly buying stuff from Tackle Warehouse.
Yeah, exactly. Also, we are on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. So please follow and subscribe. Absolutely. This is just fun. It's so fun for Pete. He's like, oh, that's a blog. He'll go home and he'll write up. He's such a good writer. So he'll write it up. It takes me all day to write a blog, but we take the good with the bad. I love talking. Oh, you can tell I love talking about everything that we do. And I've never talked to somebody on a trip that hasn't actually been booked. If it's not right then, it has been in the future. And I just love just watching people go to these places for the first time, or hearing about it and seeing their pictures. It makes me happy.
Well, it's awesome. Clearly you both are passionate about what you do, or you wouldn't do it. I mean, you put out so much content. It's amazing. And I love that, you've taken all the guesswork out of doing one of these awesome destination trips.
Exactly. And, it's hard to know, there are so many places that you can go. So many places. Which one do you choose? Well, you need to find a person so you get to know me, right? Then you get to like me, and then you get to trust me, and then you go with us because of that.
Right.
So, you could be going to, XYZ or PDQ, but no, you chose going to one of our locations that we go to because of us. And because we can give you the lowdown and take the guesswork out of it. You're exactly right.
I love it. Thank you so much for taking some time to be on the show. And before I let you go, I do want to mention one thing. So on your About page, you guys have a little Q&A on there about each of you. And one of the things I had never really thought about before was Bassmaster Classic walk-up music. And so that inspired me to actually make a post in the Woman Angler and Adventurer Facebook group asking people what their walk-up music would be. And that was super fun. I loved all the things that people came up with. And I don't think it was you. Somebody else, I think, shared the same song that you have listed there for your walk-up music. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
What was yours?
So mine, I might change it, but I was really just trying to brainstorm that morning, like, what would it be? And I had just recently gone up to Minnesota, which is where I'm originally from, and we went and saw Styx at the state fair. And so I was like, mine's got to be Come Sail Away by Styx.
Oh, love it.
But there were so many throwbacks to 80s music, which I thought was super, super funny. One of the first ones was a lady said that her and her son and a friend were talking about this same topic randomly the other day, and theirs was Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up, and she thought that was so hilarious.
That is hilarious. So, 80s music is by far the best.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, just about every song somebody shared was an 80s song. So
yep.
It's pretty awesome. And yours, by the way, just for the audience, is American Girl, which I love. So, by Tom Petty, by the way. So yeah, super fun. So thank you for that inspiration. That was a fun topic there. So yeah, everybody go check out the About page at Half Past First Cast as well. And just thank you again for taking some time out to be on the show. Super fun conversation, and I hope to get to do one of these trips with you.
Absolutely, we need to meet.
Yes.
You better be on the water. All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Hopefully sooner than later.